Now, as we line up our next match, our final match for the day, is our grand finals. It's ANR versus Zeta Division. Trav, we're going to come back to you at the end. Me and Teddy are going to take the reins. It's 27% over at event.brawlstars.com in favor of ANR to 73. The majority siding here, Teddy, with Zeta Division.
Yeah, I think people just, didn't quite watch my predictions guide for the EMEA monthly finals of March. If they did,
well, you are the predictions master, Teddy, so I'm hoping that they would.
But to be fair, Zeta are still Zeta, and they still have very good chance at taking this one. I would say it's a 45-55 or something along those lines. And I'm being quite nice towards Zeta here. When I said 45, I meant 45 for Zeta, right? It could be a 40-60, maybe in favor of ANR, but it's going to be a close call either way. And the first pick of Max on the side of ANR is already exactly what I want to see from them.
Yeah, this is very straightforward ANR, just getting in there early with that Max pick, and kind of would have liked to have seen maybe that banned out by Zeta for the same reason, but I think the penalty ban is wise for them. Going with a Sandy as well is a very underrated one still, but one that we've seen coming really to full front now in terms of the meta. And it's one that people are not banning yet. That's the thing that I've noticed a lot about Sandy, but that basic attack damage increased, the buff going from 860 to now 900 damage. It has just brought Sandy into a much more viable place. And as we saw earlier with Reply Totem, who are kind of the team that have been playing it the most in terms of play rates, just that one Sandstorm can bring back an advantage. Otis now to follow up. And now back to ANR for the draft. And they're going to be a bit concerned about the potential of some tankier ideas here. Zeta with that final pick, they can turn a surprise if they haven't got a response and answer for it. So I want to see something that kind of shows some awareness to it, some preparation for it, because at the moment they haven't really got a counter for it. Spike coming in next then for ANR, and again, that was pretty much in line with my thought process also, making sure they've got something to have in the back pocket in the eventuality that Zeta bring out a Sam or an Ash as those final moment picks, but still aggressive options still available. There's Stu Lane potentially there as well, and I think it's a bit risky to go with a tank. They've got to have something to accompany those other side lanes ready.
Yeah, I kind of like the Otis, to be honest.
Or not.
The Ashes. Yeah, well, here's the thing. On paper, it deals quite nicely with the Ash, right? But the mute, say there are rats in the mix, it's just not going to be an option in the first place. And even if you do manage to mute the Ash, usually he has enough range to kind of just fall back a little bit and then heal back up and then come back into the mix, and he lost 5 seconds and you have an Ash full HP facing you again, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's going to be enough. That's what scares me a little bit. But they will go for Pam as their final pick, which is an interesting approach. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be their mid, which Pam mid on Hard Rock Mine, it feels like a little bit of a throwback to me.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to have it not be 8-bit. 8-bit's a fantastic mid. I feel like with the Ash now looming over the sides of Zeta, they're going to have to be paying a lot of attention to whoever's playing that particular brawler, because ultimately the Sandy's going to struggle a lot in that particular matchup. Sure, it can take care of a lot of the robotic rats relatively easily, but nonetheless, it's a very scary comp that ANR here are running. I mean, they've got the speed, they've got the really, really heavy HP takedown brawlers like Spike, combining that with heavy HP on the Ash as well. It's looking like a very scary comp, and I'm curious to see how Zeta are going to start off here. Already a scrap sucker there from Gerun. It was a well-placed one at that. It was Rama who actually picked up the 3 gems, but Nob already pushing himself up deep into this top left-hand side pocket, and eventually gets stunned down. Staying alive, though, somehow. Eventually, it is Meow who gets the takedown, and much needed speed to get everyone moving on the right-hand side.
It's an aggressive start from ANR. Let's say the division with an early Sandy super, able still to find a lot of value and eventually a pickup as well onto Rama. Mebius is actually gonna go for one of the gems. Not entirely sure if that was useful at all. But either way, it is Zeta with full on control of the mid now. And setting up quite nicely. This Nob is gonna be aggressive with the robotic rats. Garo, low HP, ends up falling. Rama able to take a couple gems, but the poison will take him down. as Nob is able to still pull back with the gems, and ANR are back to 8 gems, but 3 of them are on Nob and 5 onto Mebius. Not exactly ideal considering they are the lane players and not the gem carriers. They'll still get a countdown started either way.
Yeah, what great teamwork that really was. There's not going to be much that Zeta can really do to contest this situation. Not at all. I mean, they're not even moving. They know there's not enough time to go up the map. And what a great moment. I was a bit concerned that Nob will have the gems because simply it's not the best brawler to have. You know, when it's the natural gems, he's not really a gem carrier, but ultimately was able to get the pickup just in the nick of time to be able to gain those gems away from the Otis. And that was a very, very solid start there from ANR. It's still early days. This comp so far is looking the better of the two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. Let's see if they can repeat that success getting into game number 2. Or if Zeta can hold their ground a bit firmer, as they did have the lead for the majority of the previous game. To a nice pump off from ANR to really turn things around. No, now he's going to be aggressive on the right side. He takes 2 players to pinch out, but eventually, oh, he actually just ends up in their spawn. They'll take care of him at last. It took a very long time, and the lack of mid presence meant that Nob struggled on the left in his own 1v2, and Garo was free to just roam around the mid, pick up 5 gems, make it 6 now in favor of Zeta Division.
Yeah, it's doing fantastically well. He's pushed back now on the right-hand side, but did have ANR in a really difficult conundrum to get out of this spawn side. 7 gems down to 8 in the pocket for Garu. Just trying to keep Nob suppressed and aware of him. Pretty sure the vision gear being ran by their Garu is the right way to go for it, to keep the awareness of it. Can they, though, get this takedown of Nob? Maybe it's pushing forward really deep here as well. Pretty good defensive work in all seriousness here from Zeta. Now he's so low as well. The healing station coming in clutch. Can they get this final gem? Can they get able to countdown? Or will ANR start to claw this one back? Pushing now, yeah, Rama's got to go into the mid, gets the gem, face shifts out. That's the right play to make. The pressure is still on as Zeta are really getting close now to match point.
Beautiful mute onto Rama, just slows things down. Reduce the pressure a little bit. Nob is aggressive, nearly takes down Garo, but not quite able to close out that kill just yet. And seems like he's gonna be the one falling instead, and or have brought it back to 8 gems for themselves. Garo is able to find number 10 as it spawns literally right below his feet. 12 seconds left, and ANR, they need to stand in the mid for just a little bit longer, find the next gem, but it's going to be challenging. It doesn't spawn on their side. They do get it just about in the nick of time, and that is still going to be 10-10 now, as Mebius is able to somehow find the gems. A slow one to Garo. Mebius might have single-handedly won them the game, but Garo still manages to live on. Does mean that he needs to fall back, and now ANR have full control of the mid.
What a reset. I mean, that is as close as it gets, and then to almost get the takedown of Garu, bring back the gems to make the steal. ANR are doing it with 7 seconds. The push has got to be now from Zeta. They can't stay firm in the mid anymore. I don't know whether they're going to be able to make that happen. Oh my word, they have. It's 12-12. There's one still sitting there for ANR. They pick it up now. This is so back and forth, and I cannot call it.
Oh, there's another gem that already spawned, so there is time here for Zeta Division to try to turn this one around. They'll get gem number 14. That means that gem 29, the final gem to spawn, spawns now, and it spawns for Zeta Division to pick up. Now ANR, they will need a kill no matter what. All 3 players are carrying gems. Either one going down would be enough to interrupt the countdown, but it's not meant to be, and this 29 gem game is going the way of Zeta Division.
What a game. I mean, how often do you see a first set go this way so quickly? It's neck and neck all the steps of the way here, and still up for the taking. It's just unbelievable stuff, really. I mean, that's how sets end, not how they are moving on to the deciding phase of. But let's see now who gets the first upper hand, who wins their lane, who gets that early utility that they need to enforce upon the opposition. There's a scrap circle there onto Rama. Not a bit out of position, but does their pop a chill pill to bring his health back up to scratch. Meanwhile, on the left, Meow is getting hit heavily there by Mabius. He's able to then force back on his position. So far, just both sides dancing it out. It is 4 gems in the pocket for A&R. I've just got that early lead.
Even though Knock went down without finding a kill, he was able to create so much space for Rama to get that early lead. Garo is equalizing the gem count now. 4 gems for each side, and with his presence in the mid, might be able to extend it furthermore. Maybe just using Fertilize to his advantage, making sure that he remains healthy for as long as he can. Still, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but with the current HP count, ANR have to respect that and reset. Slow things down just a little bit before going back. And going back aggressive as Nob picks up a nice pickup on the right-hand side. Rama pops speed and destroys the healing station. Nob looking for Garo, and he's gonna find it.
Yeah, he's going to take those gems all the way back to the spawn, I think, at this rate. Still got the HP advantage. The fast blast is there from now. He will reset his healing, but nonetheless, he's away. 11 gems in the pocket. It's just Gary now against the might of the world here. A&R will take the first set. They fought hard for it. They got it.
Beautifully done by A&R. And every time I see a smile on Rama's face, I start smiling myself. Because you can see the passion and the love that goes into it. A&R one set up. It was an incredibly close one. It really felt like it could have gone either way, but A&R, they had the upper hand for the most part, able to win that first game with a big steal. The second one was a steal as well, but they weren't the lead until then anyways. When I say the second one they won. The second did go the way of Zeta, and even that one, a 29 gem game that ended the way it did. Just beautiful stuff across the board. Just a lot of fun just in this opening set.
I love it when gem grab just causes that much drama early on. It just makes you aware that we're in for a bit of a treat, doesn't it, really? Beautiful stuff from both sides. I mean, it really was, but I just felt like A&R just had that little tiny bit of an edge. The comp, I felt, was just a bit more rounded in that respect, and just you could just see the way that they played it. I mean, maybe it's on that spike. I mean, the amount of survivability that he showed with that Fertilized Star Power was immense. So much DPS across the board, let's be honest. It was Naui who was just ever so ahead on that front, but pretty even stats, not gonna lie. 8 kills for both Nob and Naui, 6 kills for both Gero and Mabius. Just that tiny differential between Rama and Meow, but oh my word. I mean, this is just so close to cool. We're already in the first set, moving on to the second now. It's tough to not think that this could go all the way, Teddy.
I'm hoping it does. I genuinely am. Gulch is going to be up next here for some knockout action. And this might be a chance here for Zeta to slow things down a little bit. But, I mean, I think A&R, they have no intentions on slowing things down. Looking how aggressive they were playing before. It's going to be a tick first pick on the side of Zeta. So very much going for a safer, further up approach with that tick pick. I don't mind it. I think tick is very strong at the moment. I think that it does decently as well. And Gulch just don't really want to get to the very late stages, because then it's a little bit scarier to bring in those sort of situations, in my opinion.
Questioning a little bit the Sam ban, actually, on the side of Zeta, if I'm honest, because if I remember correctly, Tilly, with me and yourself, the last time we saw it played, actually, was by Navi in the Snapdragon Pro Series, and, you know, despite having, I think it was like about 200 supers for the entirety of the game, it didn't provide any value whatsoever to Gulch as a map. So clearly Zeta have got something in mind which they want to bring to the table, which the Sam could potentially contest, I assume, but I don't know whether that's the best use of a ban myself. The picks, though, don't necessarily say the same story for me. They're pretty decent. Tick coming in for the control, Otis as well, the nanny to finalize things up, and that is a pick which definitely Zeta play very well. But I do like the way that A&R's comp as well is shaping up to be. Bonnies, we've seen time and time again, especially versus that tick, it's going to have a wondrous time in that matchup, especially in the later stages. The shield from Gus, Spooky Boy, definitely going to be bringing a lot to the table there as well to keep everyone's survivability in check. And the Sprout to add to that control, to be able to force themselves through the map and hopefully push back that tick and give themselves back a little bit more control along the way. I feel like for me, it's actually quite a balanced draft. it's a bit of a tough one to call. I think Zetas can come down crumbling down harder, faster, but if A&R play it slow, they've got a much better late game comp, in my opinion.
I prefer A&R's comp personally, and especially when we know what A&R are capable of doing with Bonnie. I feel like they're one of the teams that utilizes it the best. And combining that now with a Gust Shield, which we didn't always see them do in the first place. They were happy to just play Bonnie on its own very often. I can see this being a big problem for Zeta to deal with. But either way, let's see how it plays down on the battlefield. As we jump in for set number 2, and it's going to be max range playing for Taxi on both sides for the early game.
Well, both sides being very cautious in their approach, which I think is wise. You don't want to feed off anything too soon that you don't need to. But a bit more clustering on the side of A&R. We'll spread out our Zeta. It's working out pretty well. Nob now pushing themselves forward just a little bit. The shots are juked pretty well. Gary down the bombs will be aware because maybe Sierra was considering to go in deep in that bottom right-hand side pocket. No supers on anyone's front at the moment, which just goes to show how much awareness both sides are showing for it. But now the peep coming in. When it connect, Nob's low. He might go down, but a big miss there, big blunder. Now he misses, and Nob will finally go down there to the tick shots, but that could cause a problem here. Maybe it's will go down. It will be Zeta to take this first round, but a couple of mistakes there to iron out for the next ones for sure.
Yeah, no supers carried over either is going to be a bit of an ouch here for A&R. Zeta do have a tick head that will be available off the bat, and it's quite a valuable one as well, especially if there is a jump in from Mebius and he ends up going down immediately. It's a 1-for-1 trade in the end, but Nob will fall, leaving things in a bit of an awkward situation. But Rama should be going down, is able to survive nevertheless. It's a 1v2 and not an easy one to win.
Yeah, really little you can do in that scenario. Zeta starting to gain back a little bit more control over the situation, and good for them. I mean, again, that first set of gem grab was so close to call if you're just joining the stream. I mean, the scoreline at the moment is far from certain here, as this could well be the sort of game mode that does cater more towards Zeta as well. So bear that in mind. Going back in though. Let's see if they choose to swap lanes or choose to stick. They're actually going to side on the same side of the map here. Definitely going to be a troublesome start. Maybe it's getting a couple of taps there, but the clustering is, for me, a little bit worrisome. But the takedown there in favor of Zeta will bring things back into order.
And it feels like there's some over-aggression from A&R getting punished again. Maybe losing patience a little bit or getting overexcited, and Zeta Division making sure to punish them for that. 2 supers already in hand as well. They can nicely carry over to the next round. And this is looking troublesome for A&R. Zeta Division are a round away from equalizing and taking away the advantage that A&R fought so hard to build up by taking gem grab.
One's going to heal up here a little bit. Quite easy to do, but the tick is a problem. We'll be considering has got super as well. Tick head, of course, will come into play normally the later stages, unless Meow is getting pressured to do so. That mute as well. Gary's going to be holding on to that dear life, and he knows what an advantage you can bring in those later stages. But for me, A&R have got to push forwards, and they are going to be doing that now. Maybe it's in the top. Does get the return to sender to the face, but nonetheless did have to make a play. Pops the gadget peep coming in. Is it going to connect? He'll be coming back around. The piloting here of Naui to the Testament, and he does get double value. Nob goes down with Mavis as well. Weak, and what a great connection.
What a disaster there. It would have been better if just one player tanked for it instead. They gotta play out this round as well, and return to center here, locks in the kill. Mebius does have his jump. He's gonna go for it now, but he gets greeted by hell on earth as soon as he lands. And that means that it's gonna be Zeta to take this game, take this set with it, and even things out 1 set each.
Wow, this is looking even more likely to go all the way to that 5th and final set. We're certainly going to be going to a 4th, and that excites me greatly. But As we saw there, you know, Zeta have got that resolve. They've got that ability to stay calm under the pressure. It's never easy in a grand final when you one set down. Sometimes that can just be the start of a downfall and escalated situation, but that was exactly how Zeta had to respond, and that they have.
Certainly that was a strong showing from Zeta. They are looking very, very good in this set. And honestly, I thought the draft was on the side of A&R. But I think that even then, Zeta Division were able to very nicely adapt and prove me wrong. I'm finding so much value as well. I think if you compare just the Tick versus Sprout, the Tick was able to just consistently arrest them. And would you look at that? That is quite a depressing thing to look at if you're an A&R fan. My goodness, 0 kills and in total something along the lines of 120 DPS for the entire team. That's less than Meow, both in kills and in DPS.
That's a double-edged trap, if I ever saw one. Yeah, it was A&R there, which really didn't hit the mark, did they, in terms of their takedowns? Pressure is one thing, but in knockout, takedowns are everything. And that's what Zeta brought to the table over them. And yeah, they'll prefer to have just kind of like, you know, go GG, go next this this set and try to put their stats out of their mind. And that's one advantage, I guess, you know, from being on the other side of the playing side, is you don't necessarily have to dwell on statistics of your downfall. You can just look straight ahead, leave the past in the past, and Sneaky Fields is where we're going next for Brawl Ball. This could definitely be the set that turns things around a little bit more in A&R's favor, but Zeta, with that momentum off the back of knockout, definitely going to be feeling a lot more better about the situation. This draft has got to be important. The bans are filled on this particular map carry so much weight, and they are Primo, Surge, and Ems for Zeta, Ems, Spike, and Poco for A&R. Some very big ones there for me, and absolutely on the money. There's still a great deal of potential for some tankier brawlers to come into the equation. Ash, Sam, Rosa, Nita. I mean, the list goes on and on when it comes to Sneaky Fields, in all honesty.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Zeta want to go for a tanky approach, right? Because Primo is mainly used as a way to counter other tanks as well, like the Ash, like the Sam. And then betting out both Surge and Ems also very much indicating that they want to go for something tanky. We'll see though, as Nita is going to be the first pick here for A&R. I don't like Nita, just in general. I like it in Heist with Hyperbear against the safe. Besides that, I just don't really like it. Sometimes it works, but most of the time when I watch it, I just feel like it doesn't. So I think it's an interesting first pick, in my opinion. But we'll see how Zeta Division react to it.
I really like the Nita first pick myself. I mean, it's just got such a heavy win rate in Brawl Ball, and now Crow coming in for Zeta. Not a bad one at all, but they do need to apply something of a tank counter or just a heavy counter. Some of the big HP brawlers here, some big DPS be quite pleasantly welcomed, I feel. B's probably on the cards here as well, but the Spike Band's really smart from A&R, honestly. It's kind of like what you'd want to have in your back pocket for these kinds of games, but, you know, Rosa is going to be coming in. Yeah, I've seen this brawler coming back a bit more and more into Sneaky Fields recently. The Unfriendly Bushes gadget is just such a great way of scouting the bushes immediately. That's slow as well. You have some speed to hand. That's kind of where I'm thinking both sides have got to be considering this. You need a bit of a max to get everyone moving and out of harm's way. If they don't pick it on the side of A&R, Zeta surely would snap that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, a little bit scared of this double slow comp from Zeta. It's quite scary because, I mean, just a Rosa is always a threat on Sneaky Fields, but when you have 3 other slows potentially from the Crow gadgets, it gives you a lot of opportunities to shine. And in order to go Frank, which used to be a fairly common tank counter, but it's not really used that much at the moment, and I have no clue how well it's going to be doing here.
They've got to counter this out or choose to go with another tank, and I just don't know how I feel about that if they were to consider doubling down on their odds. I mean, you have to be able to deal with this Frank, you know, yeah, I feel you have to go Otis there. I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be thinking, right, let's go with Frank on Sticky Fields. It can get some great results, it really can. But ultimately, there's definitely more favorable ideas there with what was banned. You know, Ash, Sam was still on the table. They went with Frank. The key there, realistically, for me on the side of A&R was getting the B in early so that they would be able to deprive it from Zeta. But, you know, it's definitely a pick from the side of A&R that's got a lot of confidence behind it. You know, you don't go in with just a Frank into Sticky Fields unless you tried and tested with it. But I do worry, Otis can suppress it out so easily and basically cycle off the back of it. So I am kind of going a little bit more on the Zeta side of this comp. I think I was more on the side of A&R until the Frank showed its face. But let's see how they can make this work.
Well, so far it seems like it's going to be with a very early goal. In favor of Zeta. I hate Nita. I think Nita is terrible. Again, it's there. It dies 2 seconds into the game. I hate Nita. Okay, you heard it here. First, I absolutely despise that brawl. I only like it on heist. As I said earlier, we are not on heist. Why is it here? Either way, it finds a very nice kill now, which should probably result in a goal for A&R. I just need to rant a little bit, you know, to motivate Rama to prove me wrong, and he did exactly what I wanted. So, rant over.
Great to watch. That's like just you were just digging yourself that hole for that entire moment. Oh, hilarious. I think personally Nita here can get some great results. It just depends upon your opposition. You know, in the monthly final qualifiers, I think you believe it was Foot versus Humble. It was, I think it was one of those two sides that were really aware to not feed into the Nita, and that's how you have to handle in this kind of situation. If Zeta can just keep the distance from Rama and not feed into the Bruce Bear, it will help them out massively. But Nob is on an absolute tear on his left-hand side. They might not even need the help of that because Rama could just probably walk us through the amount of Frank stuns he keeps landing, and he keeps going.
Incredible stuff from Nob. Does not quite manage to get the follow-up, however. Now low HP. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Mebius needs to be careful because Meow has to jump in, but Nob did respawn. Able to defend this time around. Really would like to open up that right side as well, but Rosa is staying away from him, which is gonna be quite nice considering that in the open she's a bit of a sitting duck, and Mebius was able to take her out. A beautiful kill from Meow with that jump in. Is that gonna be enough here for Zeta to try to find any sort of opening? Overtime is definitely gonna be challenging for both sides. Not entirely sure who it would be favoring, to be honest. Seems like Nob is gonna go for another super, finds the connection with it. Another stun now as well. And this one will claim the kill, but the poison will take him down as well. And it looks like Zeta should be able to slot this one in just before overtime kicks in. And that means that Zeta take the upper hand again.
So little was in that. I mean, just a couple of HP here or there to determine who was going to stay on their feet or not. I felt as well the way that Nob plays this Frank. I mean, they kind of deserve a bit of a win here or there in this set, at least somewhere along the lines, because he's getting so much value. His DPS at the end of this game is surely the statistics side is going to be through the roof at this rate. But this B pick really is holding the whole comp together for me on the side of A&R. As much as I know you hate the need to tell you, I feel like it does bring a lot of value with the ability to keep the heals rolling in. But look at this big push, very much the same as what we saw in the previous game, as Zeta don't hesitate, don't spend any time wasted to get a goal in 25 seconds.
Yeah, it's as good as a start as the previous game was. The stun from Nob is gonna miss. Nicely baited out by Naui. We'll get another, but doesn't have time to pump it. Meow with a jump in, and that might very much be the set already. The shield on the bear gonna be useless as this Nita pick is, and and A&R will be dropping the set. It's gonna be Zeta Division up 2-1 now in sets.
Well, when the cards started falling down, they tumbled and escalated quickly. Zeta now are in a prime spot. I mean, that is how quickly the tides can turn, honestly. I feel like A&R, when you compare how they were playing at the very beginning of that set, it just didn't look the same towards the end as they started to maybe doubt themselves a bit more, or just kind of underestimate the might of the Zeta comp, because it is a really scary thing. I think Rosa now, for me, kind of got to be a go-to ban in Sticky Fields, because simply that slowdown is very, very forgotten now, as we haven't seen Sticky Fields for quite a while in the competitive map pool. When it comes in and just is able to do things like that, you can just win your lane so incredibly quickly. But this is now scary for A&R, and what's turned into a really great day in set one is starting to trickle away from them. If they're not careful, this has to go all the way for them to the fifth and final set if they're going to be able to claw something back and take the month of March. Zeta looking to extend things more so into having back-to-back wins in the BSC of 2023, and they are surely feeling good about their performance so far today.
Yeah, I mean, looking at A&R, and you mentioned the DPS from Nob, it's definitely by far the highest out of anyone, but he did feed off so much from his interactions against the Rosa. I think it was just an interesting draft from A&R. I didn't mind the Frank nearly as much as I minded the Nita personally. But let's see if their draft can be just a little bit more on point. Maybe this fourth set can be theirs and we can go all the way to a final fifth set to set both teams apart. I do think that they deserve some praise for, you know, bringing Anita and a Frank on Sneaky Fields in a grand final. I mean, especially as players that haven't, you know, really won any monthly finals before besides Alex, you gotta have some sort of confidence to make that happen, and I will appreciate that.
I'm kind of surprised. I think the Nita is quite a common pick on Sneaky Fields, in honesty. Like, in terms of the pick rates, I mean,
hate it.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't like it. That's what I'm sensing, Teddy. Definitely not one for Nita. Oh, I'll make a note. Shooting Beatles up next, then for Hot Zone, and this is where Zeta are looking to close it out. Hopefully, no Nitas on their side. I'll stop. But certainly, surely some mech bans here or there have got to be on the cards. Poker as well. Long-range ideas. Colette can have moments in this particular map too, so that's worthy to consider. But definitely Penny's going to be up there. So Meg, yeah, Crow, Penny for Zeta, Sam, Squeak, and Carl for A&R. Let's see what the first son of a brewer is on the side of A&R who won the coin toss.
Stu is going to be our first pick here for the side of A&R. It's a brawl I do like here. Matches nicely with their way of thinking. Very aggressive brawler, and that's usually the playstyle they would prefer. Zeta Division is better than Mag, which I think here is an absolute threat. Same for the Crow, so I do like their bans a bit more, to be honest. But it makes sense, considering A&R had the first pick, to remove those very strong options, and A&R focusing more on banning the best last picks, as Meow is going to be locking in the Gus for Zeta Division. Still in a pretty good place overall. Not as good as it once was, but it can still find a lot of value, especially if you combine it with some more aggressive brawlers. The shield can really come in clutch. Janet is going to be paired with it. Not necessarily my favorite, but it is one of the maps where I like it the most, compared to how many Janets we've seen today on maps where I don't necessarily like the brawler pick. I feel like it does quite alright on Dueling Beetles, so I'm not going to be disappointed there.
Definitely lacks some hard-hitting utility, though, for Zeta so far. I do like the stew here from A&R. Keep everyone moving, and it's just got a bit more of an aggressive taste to it. Ham going to come in, which will be very much appreciated, in my opinion. Wouldn't mind to see even a Poco double down on the heels myself, but going over the bell, having a bit more lane control, and hopefully some shots to bounce between the situation. But for Zeta so far, I feel like this comp is definitely safe in their hands. They can definitely make it work, and Gus still moving anywhere in terms of the meta, staying very, very firmly pertinent. I don't mind it, but I prefer the way that A&R's comp is going to play out. It's going to be a bit more enjoyable to the eye. Let's see what their third and final pick coming in now will be to finalize this off. But it's going to be Lola. Yeah, that's going to be tough. I mean, it is picking ultimately Lola into Bell, and that's never a great thing to do, but I mean, it does have pretty decent matchups against everything else. So I don't mind it necessarily at all. I think Lola's not a bad shout to have at all, but I just like the A&R comp. I would like them to win this set just simply to see this go to the 5th and final.
Yeah, same. And also because I like my predictions to be right, to be honest. But
well, that's it. You are the predictions master, so you know exactly.
That is true. I've got one wrong today, though. I'm a little bit disappointed, but everything is good. Everything is good. Looking at the drafts, though, I do personally prefer Zetas just a little bit. I like the ideas from A&R too. Don't get me wrong. The double spawnable setup as well with both the speed zone and the healing station, I think can be very, very strong, but getting to that situation can be a little bit scary as well. We'll just see how it plays out here. So far, so good for A&R as Nob is finding so many great connections on the left side. It does end up being taken very low HP, and Meow finds a nice pickup onto Rama, and now suddenly Zeta Division are going to be able to build a little bit of a lead with that good early start.
Oh, speed's going down now, but Garrett does pop the nest egg, and that's going to mean the Rama will pick up the scraps on that one. A very swift takedown there after the drop the base, and Meow very, very close to going down himself. Nob comes in, and now this is where that Lola pick is going to thrive at the back of the ego pop, but when those gadgets deplete and there's nothing left, Nob is going to be able to surely get a much more favorable transaction there. Now he's marked as well. It's exactly what you want to be doing on that right-hand side lane if you're Nob. So I like the way they're playing it. It's very, very close in terms of the scoreline, though, and A&R have got to start to deplete this. Yeah, the utility's got to go down, but look at how many marks they are placing. The accuracy is pinpoint precision here from A&R.
Yeah, very nice shots from Nob. He's been playing fantastically so far this game. They will be able to take over the lead again, only by a couple of percentages. Still need to be very careful about how they approach this. Healing station is so useful, though. Every tag that Meow connects, Rama doesn't even really need to carry. He'll heal up quicker than he takes damage. And if not quicker, at least it will definitely extend his stay down in the mid. Ego, not really gonna find any value. Bit of a missed opportunity, I think, there from Naui, as he is low HP himself, and Meow will have a super, except he doesn't really want to leave the zone. He's gonna pump it either way, but that instantly creates a huge weakness in the mid here for Zeta Division, and A&R now a couple percentages away from taking this game.
Oh, I love that placement there from Maybe. It's just going super aggressive there with the healing station and the moment squeeze now. Just 1% there remaining for them, and they will seal it. Lovely stuff. And now we have got a match. We really do. It is starting to get a bit more even out. It's not Zeta looking as strong in this fourth set as they were previously, so an opening door potential here for A&R to bring this one back and rein things in. We're going into the match now, and this is really make or break now for them. They've got to get a good start and land these shots as they were previously, because as they know, Zeta have got really great utility to hand. They'll be looking to exacerbate a lot of it early on as they did previously. They've got to try to draw that out as quickly as they possibly can. Rama's been dancing around this whole entire game, but now pretty low and gonna go down to Meow. Let's drop the base. Nob and Mavis will be staying firm here, but the positioning control very much with Zeta in these early moments.
Nice gadget from Garrett, getting Mebius low HP. The ego there from Naui goes down pretty much as soon as he placed it. Now he's very low HP again. Rama trying to get out of there is able to do so successfully. A&R kick things off with pretty nice lead. A healing station now as well, and it's been such a big problem for Zeta Division to try to deal with that healing station. And so far, I feel like that's the biggest problem of that Lola pick. It was their last pick, and that should have been something to deal with the healing station, because so far, as soon as it's placed down, it's just such a nightmare for them to take care of it.
Well, gadget pop there from Mabius. It's getting so much value, and again another aggressive healing station, but quickly and swiftly taken care of by Zeta. Now he low, Meow low as well, but will they be able to stay standing in these moments, because that mark is going to be crucial now. Meow takes the skies and Nob does go down. Meow somehow is getting so many taps. Rama 715 HP and a Dream trying to heal himself up at the back of the Gasser Hill, and doing so magnificently well. He's still juking it, allowing Nob and Mavis to come back in, and 71% was captured over that period of time. Great delay strategy, but now Zeta got complete mid-control. All three players on their feet. What is a crucial moment. They're now even out 71% on each side, and who is going to take this game?
Yeah, potentially a bit of a fumble there as well, was Mavis using his healing station when nobody was really there to capitalize from it. Garo with some great jukes and some great connections from Zeta Division. They'll take this one, and that means that now they have a match point in their hands. Zeta a single game away from taking this match.
What a turning point. I thought that was going to be a set sweep in all honesty for A&R, but let's see how they respond. This is going to put them to the test now, because Zeta have been in these positions before many a time over, and they know how to handle the pressure of the situation and get it tied up. But as we go in, speed zone down early there for Rama. Connecting shots from Nob on the left. Maybe it's just trying to whittle down Naui a little bit, but it's Rama who's the weakest of everyone. Has got the Gasser Hill, but 120 HP. Needs to be a little bit more reserveful there. Takedown off the drop the base is important, but they've lost control on the side of A&R, and Zeta now are in a commanding position with 20% of a lead.
Yeah, nice gadget from by Garo. Pretty much going to be a free kill there and make it a double. What a terrific start here for Zeta Division. A&R so far don't really have an answer. Healing station going to be placed down. Some good damage onto Meow, but he's able to just fall back and heal back up. Now he was the ego enough to create so much space, so much pressure. Zeta already past 60% captured, and A&R have got so much catching up to do.
Great awareness there from Rama to pick up the kill, because Meow would have been staying there, but got a lot of catching up to do, like you say. They've got to keep this positioning power. Garrett low now, great from Rama. He's playing out of his mind at the moment. He does not want to be going home at this stage. They've come so far. Nob trying to get the taps into the ego there to put pressure onto Naui. What a great turnaround this is turning to be, but one slip will prove to be potentially the downfall here of A&R as Meow pushing forwards now. Big shots bouncing between both Naui and Garo and everyone on the side, but oh, what a kooky pop that was from Garo. It's 80% lead now for Zeta, and what a world of confidence they've got now. 10% to go. Surely this is it, Teddy.
Yeah, this is their chance to close it out, and with only Nob left alive, they'll do just that. Zeta Division will be winning not only the first, but now also the second monthly final of the year, and the smile on the player's face, including Enzo as well behind their coach, says it all, as Zeta Division will be locking in the February and the March monthly final victories. And Rama still seems pretty happy after all. I think he knows how much it means to just get this second place, because we'll see it later on, but I'm sure this is quite big for the leaderboards as well.
I'm just going to bring things back around there to that smile from Rama, because it was almost a year ago to the day that he went face to face with Tribe Gaming EU and went to match point. That would have been his first monthly final win of his career. And a year later, and it comes to that stage of the competition, but he can then still smile at the end of it. I think it just displays such incredible competitive spirit. We don't see that too often. It's normally all doom and gloom, but he's still smiling at the end. And I've got to shout that out, because that is truly commendable. Not to take anything away from Zeta at all. Far already deserved, absolutely so. Absolutely smashing it this year. They are the team to beat in this region. But nonetheless, to come that close a year later and still leave with a smile, that says a lot to me.
To his old teammates as well, robbing him of this monthly final. And I don't think they left in bad terms, but I would assume that he would have liked to sign with Zeta as well. Wasn't included in that deal, but he still managed to have a phenomenal performance today. And Zeta Division, they will still be the better team today, but I am so excited to see the development for A&R for the rest of the year, as to me they are the team that has shown the most potential so far in this region in 2023.
Well, I will take the MVP that you voted for at event.brawlstars.com. And again, what a day has been for Zeta. Thoroughly deserved. Again, just going from strength